I'll try not to be too long. And it's okay if anyone cries. I might. Our tradition says, make for yourself a Rav, a teacher. Acquire for yourself a friend. So, make for yourself a Rav, acquire for yourself a friend. So one must take an active role in finding ways to learn from their teacher. You have to create your teacher, create your Rav. It doesn't just tell us to sign up for a class, although I appreciate those of you who have taken classes with me. But we must make ourselves a rabbi. We can acquire friends along the way, along this journey of life. And these past years, I've tried my best to learn from each of our wonderful clergy and to connect with each of you. And when I first arrived, I'd only been ordained as a rabbi for a month. I think less than a month. I didn't yet know what I didn't yet know. I had no idea the moments I'd share, the lessons I'd learn, the friends I'd enjoy. Now, sure, I knew a lot of information that one needs to be an educated Jew and a scholarly rabbi, but there's no real way to teach how to be an effective rabbi. The only way to learn is to just jump in. Most of you first met me probably, or at least you first got to know me at High Holy Days 2018. You might remember I was the rabbi that held up a book and read from a book at Yom Kippur. It was a Mo Willems book. Do you remember this? Called We Are in a Book, in which the two main characters, Gerald and Piggy, they have an existential crisis as they realize that they will cease to exist at the end of the book. It's deep, and it affected me. And it affected me especially greatly when I was reading it to my kids at night, and I knew I had to bring it in here, and I needed to share it with all of you. And at that time, someone offered me advice. I don't remember who it was. If it was you, come up to me after and tell me. But they said, don't show them your best cards right off the bat. Apparently, I did a good job with that sermon. They said, don't show them all your best cards right off the bat, otherwise you'll have little to offer later on. And I wondered, had I peaked with the Mo Willems book? Was I just going to coast from here on in for the next years? So really the only reason that you might like what I do is because ever since then I've been trying to top that first sermon that I did. I strove over these past 4 years to bring myself into my rabbinate, to bring myself to my rabbinate. I strove to meet the congregants where all of you were, offering what all of you needed. I strove to push the limits of what the congregation wanted so as to introduce something new. I strove to comfort the shaken and to shake up the comfortable. I didn't do it alone. I had the amazing leadership and mentorship of the United Hebrew Clergy team. When I first met Rabbi Kaplansky, our Rabbi Emeritus, he gave me the greatest advice I had heard. Don't wear brown shoes on the bima. That's the first thing he said to me. Now, Rabbi Rosenberg has let me just kind of fall upon these shoes because, I hurt my leg a while ago and these are really comfy. But he said don't wear the brown shoes, and I haven't since that day. I haven't worn brown shoes. These are more grayish. But I understood the subtext of his words. Present yourself as the congregation needs you to be. Present yourself as the congregation needs you to be. Throughout his rabbinate, Rabbi Kaplansky's rabbinate, brown shoes indicated, perhaps, a lack of sophistication or a lack of fashion sechel. And he wanted me to present the best self I can be. So I say thank you to Rabbi Kaplansky for that advice that's stuck with me all these years. Then I met our beloved Cantor Emeritus, Cantor Hochberg. From day one, he demonstrated to me his love and passion for Jewish music. He taught me not to sing quietly, but, but rather to add holiness to a service through adding melody and harmony. Coming from a background filled with Jewish music, Cantor Hochberg's dedication to his craft reminded me to try to perfect that for which I am passionate. Now, nothing could have prepared me for the paradigm shift that was my first meeting with Cantor Eicher. And I think Rabbi Rosenberg dropped me off there, right, in his office. I think you dropped me off and was like, good luck. Within 2 minutes, we appreciated each other's talent. I think. I appreciated his. And we both realized that we were former Olympic javelin throwers. I'm kidding. I'm not, but he is. Cantor Eicher has always reminded me to hold myself accountable. The amount of raw passion that pours forth from him could fill a fiery volcano. And he's inspired me to chase and grow my own musicality and never to compromise who I am. So I say thank you. I say thank you to Cantor Hochberg, too. I think I forgot that, but thank you. Finally, there's my mentor and colleague, Rabbi Rosenberg. I knew we had a connection when I first visited for my in-person interview, and we sat and talked about a real-world situation that challenged her as a rabbi. I immediately sensed her attention to details that I myself had never really tapped into. And Rabbi Rosenberg has challenged me over these past 4 years to grow as a rabbi and as a leader. She's inspired me both directly and indirectly. And she's helped me understand that if I have something to say, I need to ensure people are ready to listen. Through Rabbi Rosenberg's mentorship, my rabbinate has become more refined. I've learned how to use my talents and passions more effectively. By observing her interaction with the congregation, I've learned, I haven't mastered, but I've learned more how to manage a sacred community. Could I have handled the position I'm beginning in July if I had not had this position? Sure. Would I have brought them the best rabbi I can be? Certainly not. My position here as assistant rabbi has transformed me into something and someone new. And so for that, I say thank you. None of it would have been possible, though, without my wife, Melissa. I can honestly say that I would not be here on this bima tonight without Melissa in my life. And this is the time that JoJo should just go play so Mommy can pay attention. We were set up by a mutual friend many years ago who noticed we were both, quote, artsy and weird. And enough said. Academically, I was stuck at that time, though I knew I wanted to be a rabbi. And Melissa helped and guided me back into school, where I found my first academic success in life, having lived with undiagnosed ADHD most of it. I remember Melissa walking me through how to use an assignment book in my 20s, asking me, how have you made it this far not knowing this? Well, not all too well, as it would seem. But it got better. I thrived in school, finally, when I got back into school, and I knew I still wanted to go to rabbinical school. The only problem was I needed to spend my first year of rabbinical school in Israel. And so I let her know how much our relationship meant to me. And I asked her, I let her know that I was going to be spending a year in Israel, and I asked her if she wanted to come with me when that happened. And her answer was, I would, if you put a ring on it. So I did. And for many other reasons too. Throughout the 5 years of rabbinical school and the 4 years at United Hebrew, Melissa has sacrificed so much. And yet somehow we've received 3 beautiful, miraculous children since our year in Israel. And we just got to meet our new baby niece, who's the little baby that you hear crying. Melissa's more than just a strong mother. She's a dedicated teacher, educator, and Jew. And most of all, you may not know this, but it can be emotionally and spiritually trying to be a rabbi. I don't know if you know that. You may think that it's just sitting in my rabbi office, drinking Shirley Temples and laughing and announcing to an empty room, it's good to be a rabbi. But it's actually a lot more than that. And Melissa has been my rock. She's been my ear. She's been my biggest fan. She's been my harshest critic. Quite literally, I would not be here on this bema without her. She's my dearest, closest friend that I've acquired through this journey. And she is my most trusted rabbi as well. And of course, I would literally not be on this earth without my parents. I've been blessed with parents for whom Judaism was a priority. My father instilled in me the love for the Jewish people and the value of being a mensch, a good person. As a kid, I still remember my dad and my brother, Ricky, who's in the room right now. You can see him, he looks like me. He'll remember this, that as a kid, I still remember my dad taking a thankful sigh at Shabbat dinner, and saying, Shabbat always comes at the right time. And he's right. He taught me to appreciate Shabbat and to embrace it as a special, holy respite in time. And my mom of blessed memory. There's so much of my mom in my rabbinate that each of you actually knows her a lot more than you know. My rabbinate has become and will continue to be a testament to her as a person, as a cantor, as a Jew. Each Shabbat when I'm up here on the bema, she's with me. In fact, she is Shabbat to me. She was a cantor most of my life, so going to Shabbat meant hearing my mother singing all the prayers. And her voice still echoes in my head as I deliver words and music to you from where I stand. And I also wouldn't be here without all of you. You may think I don't know you. This may even be literally the first time you've ever stepped foot in this building this evening, but I still know you. And I truly love each and every one of you. I really do. I can't possibly express my gratitude for all the special moments, conversations, and even arguments that we've shared. I can't begin to concretize the impact each of you has made on my life. I'll carry each one of you in my heart as I move on from this sacred community. In his book entitled Relational Judaism, Dr. Ron Wolfson writes, one of the greatest compliments a rabbi and cantor can hear is, she is my rabbi, or he is my cantor. She is my rabbi, or he is my cantor. I've only ever wanted to be your rabbi, or your cantor, but I'm not ordained as a cantor. I've only ever wanted to be that person to help to bring you God and Torah. I've only ever wanted to provide a holy, divine service so that each of you can walk through life in light and peace. About life, about this life, about this world. We're living in a difficult, dark time. This past week brought us such senseless violence and unimaginable pain. I'm not sure I can offer any of my own words of comfort. But I do know this. Thoughts and prayers will never be enough to change the world. Only action can. If there's one piece of Torah, if there's one piece of my teaching, of my message that I can leave you all with, it's this. Only together can we create peace, and only through action can peace be achieved. I hope and pray that United Hebrew continues to strive to be a beacon of hope and justice by taking action necessary to create change. I hope and pray that when people hear our name, they think, oh yes, they're making a difference. I hope and pray that very soon the prophet Elijah himself shows up and arrives and tells us, job well done, you guys. We did it. We achieved peace. My work here at United Hebrew these past years has been the continuation of the work done by United Hebrew's past and current rabbis. I've been standing on the shoulders of great giants and great leaders who have striven for the greater good, as I have. The greater good for the Jewish people and for the world. And by following in their footsteps, I and we can indeed make a difference. Thank you for praying with me. Thank you for singing with me. Thank you for laughing with me. Thank you for doubting me. Thank you for testing me. Thank you for challenging me. Thank you for trusting me. Thank you for crying with me. Thank you for being with me. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Shabbat shalom.
I'm going to invite Cantor Hochberg and Rabbi Kaplansky to the bima. Rabbi Kaplansky, if you will come forward. I'm going to have everybody stay standing. Fantastic. We can, you know what? We can come down. We can come down. Or not. I'm going to have all of you stay standing because